Hi, welcome to the Friday 50-50. We've talked about this idea before, haven't we? That we're going to do Friday 50-50.
We have.
So we were just talking before we started about how do I do the intro, and because sometimes we interview people, sometimes I talk to you, and how do we differentiate? And we've decided that when I'm with Danielle, it's going to be Friday 50-50, and when I'm with guests, it's just 50-50. And I have an idea which I haven't told you about yet, or Grayson, and you might veto it, but my brother had this fantastic idea for an adjustment to the logo, the 50-50 logo, but I can't adjust it because Sam created it and I love it, and I love the green colour that Dan and I created. Anyway, for Friday 50-50, what do you think of the idea that I get something made? My brother's logo idea was 50-50, like glass half full, glass half empty, and I get a little something about this big and we put it right there.
Yeah.
I just looked at Gracie, not even looking at me. He has no opinion on this. I suppose it's outside.
I love all your ideas. So.
Wow, this works out beautifully. He's not paying attention and you love everything.
Oh, yeah.
This is why I want to spend all my time here. Yeah. I love either being ignored or adored, and I get both. So I don't know, you can probably see it on the film, but I'm wearing a pink fluffy...
Woo!
Right?
Celebration.
There is a celebration in that skirt, which I'm going to mention in a moment, but I actually got distracted from my initial celebration by my new French-style T-shirt that I bought on the way here at DFO because I forgot my clothes, apart from my special clothes because something exciting has happened, which we'll mention in a moment. But then I realised this is kind of like a French sailor, and we just had the most beautiful patisserie cakes from George Street
Cafe in Kensington.
Come on. You were
Amazing.
saying it's some fabulous chef who's now like, this is what I want to do.
Amazing.
That
It makes
strawberry
everything.
tart, man. I mean, it was really like next level.
Yeah, highly recommend it. Pop in on a Saturday, and that's when they have the biggest range.
Yes.
Oh, and sometimes he does these cronuts, like the cross between the croissant and the donut thing.
Yes.
So good.
Come on. So
And the
that's
milfoils
nice.
are good too.
What's nice
The
as well?
milfoils, the little
Oh,
the French.
milfoils are... I mean, I've watched a lot of cooking shows, and doing a rough puff alone is very serious. So doing a real thing like a milfoil is quite fun to say. Milfoil. It's also quite hard to say. It reminds me of, have you ever I'm talking to Grayson now as well. I don't know why. I forget you, Grayson. Have you ever watched Family Guy?
No, I watched a couple of episodes because I really liked the Orville, and so I thought I'd try and watch some of his back catalogue, and no, it was just the Orville that I like.
So Family Guy is both hilarious and always goes too far. Oh, it's so offensive, so gross, and always too far for me. But Stewie, the baby in it, I love very much. And there is one thing worth watching where Stewie and Brian go to Europe and they do a musical and they sing all these songs, and it's just awesome. And there's no really, really bad Family Guy bits in it. But what it reminded me of saying milfoil is there's a joke that I've just realised won't be funny. I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm quite premenstrual, so I'm off the boil. But yeah, when Stewie, the kid, they say Cool Whip, and he goes, Cool Whip, and they go, Cool Whip, and he goes, Cool Whip, and then they say cool, and he goes, cool, and they say whip, and they go, say Cool Whip, and he goes, Cool Whip. Family Guy, what's that say? If you know, you know. IYK. What's this thing people write, right? That thing. There's a whole Gen Alpha language now. Sigma, skibbity.
Grayson was deciphering it for me today. He actually said to me, "Did you see that thing?" And I said, "Yes, I did." And everyone because I listened to ABC radio, and all the oldies were going, "What the hell are these kids talking about?
What is this?"
So he was helping me decipher it.
So one of my friends put on Facebook the other day, and he's probably in his 40s, that his teenage son said to him, "You've got 100+ aura," and he thought it was a compliment. And then his dad said he told him that means it's like 1,000 negative points. But then when I checked with Sam, he said, "Nah, if you have a positive aura, that's a good rating." And then I said, "Well, what's cap?" And he said, "Cap is if it's not true. No cap is if it's false, or vice versa." Grayson, is cap true or not true? Put your thumb up if it's true.
Cap's a lie.
Cap's a lie. Grayson spoke. This can be a collector's edition. Oh, my God, you're not listening to this for free. This is our first paid podcast moment.
Hear Grayson speak.
Hear Grayson speak. Cap is a lie. No cap is true.
Yeah, no.
You be capping, man. But they say stuff like that. That came out very naturally from me.
Know. And I find that because I worked in crypto for a bit with a lot of young people.
Yes.
And I spent half my day Googling all the little acronym things that they were messaging me on Slack. I'm like, I wrote back in proper English because it takes me longer to think of what the thing is than to just write the whole word.
And our English is our first language. Gen Alpha speak is, what's it called, brain rot? They're calling it come up from Grayson. It's called brain rot language. These poor younger generation. They're so dystopian.
It must be hard because I'm not a parent. You must be a parent. It must be hard to keep up with.
Well, Sam still says, Mother, I think I'd like to have so. And I said, do you do this? And he goes, no, I know most of what it means, but I don't use it. Not all my friends use it. So he's only 10, like 12, 13, they're very committed.
Yeah.
So Gen Z now, of course, are not the latest language.
I
don't feel old. I feel delighted. I just love it, man. Like, I feel for them. Their world is so, what the hell?
The good thing about, like, I feel old is, like, I feel like I don't care anymore. Like, there was a few years ago where I decided, you know what? I know enough words to songs now. Yeah. I don't need to listen to new music anymore. And I'm happy with the catalogue that I have.
What a decision. That was
because
wild.
There's a lot of pressure, you know. People say, have you heard this song? Have you heard this latest song? And I'll be like, no. And now I'm like, I've just made that decision now that it's not something I'm going to aspire to anymore.
So
my 80s and 90s back catalogue.
Yes.
It's enough.
So no one ever asked me if I've heard it because, as my high school girlfriends will know, the first album I bought was Air Supply. I bought that when I was 12 and 40-year-olds bought that album and I bought that as my first album. So I've always been behind.
I love Air Supply.
Out of love. I'm so lost without you.
I can't sing.
I can't remember it now. I bought it when I was 12. I haven't listened to it for a long time.
Oh, no, I love the oldies.
Now I'm thinking about George
Michael.
And my
mum had a huge record collection.
Did she?
Oh, yeah. So I have a very expansive knowledge of popular 70s music as well.
That would have been lovely. So my parents never played any music. And I think there's really we can explain a few things there. And then on Andy's side, they like Nana Muscuri.
I love Nana Muscuri.
Do you? What does she sing?
I couldn't tell you, but if you played the songs for me, I would know all the words.
Did you know Engelbert Humperdinck?
Yes.
Did you ever hear the comedian Eddie, the English comedian? I think he's now transgender. He was transvestite, but I think he's now transgender. I cannot remember his surname. Very famous fellow. We'll put it in the show notes. And he did this gag about Engelbert Humperdinck's real name was Joe Smith, something like that, right? Yeah. And his publicist was going, poopy doop fruity loops. And he's like, nah. And he's going, bumpy lump, and then he goes, Engelbert Humperdinck, and he goes, yes,
that's it. That's
the one. Like Benedict Cumberbatch. When people play with his name, have you seen them do it like brioche cucumber patch? Like you can do any combination and it sounds like Benedict Cumberbatch.
No, but now that you were talking about Nana Muscuri and she used to wear those big glasses and now I'm looking at your big glasses going,
do I look like Nana?
Muscuri. No, she did, but she had the really thick
black glasses. Did she used to have dark hair parted in the middle?
Yeah, I think I just remember off the album cover.
Her glasses were very famous.
Yeah. Oh, I love my mum's record collection.
Yeah, how beautiful.
Great.
They're selling vinyls again now.
Yeah, everything's back. I'm keeping my CDs.
Baby.
CDs have
you
to
think
come
it's
back.
Going to come? Vinyls back.
I'm carting them around from house to house.
Going one day, baby, they'll be back. Well, like, you know, we all drove these old bangers of cars and now they're all 30 grand. My first car, which was a Type 2 fastback V-dub with a worked engine, my friend's dad said when I rocked up to see her, he goes, who's got the V8? And she goes, not a V8, it's a V-dub. But it was like, yeah.
Love that.
Total lemon. I love that car. I'm grateful to my dad, actually, because he bought me this amazing car with a purple dashboard, painted the rest of it this beautiful cream. Yeah, it was total lemon. It cost him a fortune because he was still looking after me back then financially. But it was quite the statement car, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, now Kingswood, 30 grand. We bought them for 1,800.
Really?
Yeah. 40
I'm
grand.
so out of the loop. I have no idea.
Because all of us threw them out and then 3 or 4 people kept them.
Yeah, right.
So now they're worth a fortune.
Yeah, cool.
What on earth am I doing with my time? I bought a Mercedes and that's why I'm wearing my pink celebration skirt.
Woo!
So, look, Mercedes haven't yet sponsored the purchase of my Mercedes. I don't understand why. I know we have at least 2 listeners. So exciting. So I had to apologise to my husband because we took our very logical Toyota Orion, which is like the dad of a Camry with a bigger engine, same idea, same boredom, same wouldn't notice it, same vanilla-esque kind of flavour. Anyway, I was getting really sick of it. It's old, it's dented, it just doesn't express how I want to be expressed. And we took it to the mechanic and he told us it was dead. And I quickly apologised to my husband because I'm quite famous for manifestation.
Oh, yes.
I didn't realise I'd done it, but was delighted. And anyway, then we were deciding, okay, what are we going to do? Because Andy has a passion around getting a Tesla. His sister won't get a Tesla because she hates Elon Musk.
Yeah.
But Andy's too committed to the technology, so he's ignoring the man.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I mustn't love Elon because I didn't even want to do a shout out to him. I was like, odd bod.
No.
Very strange.
I'm off him now.
Yeah,
used to be a fan, off him now.
Well, it's easy to be off him now. Anyway, we've got emotion with the sister, logic with the husband, and the Tesla is still in my husband's dreams. But we haven't yet moved into our house with the solar panels. It's still quite a big financial purpose. I saw an opportunity. I am an opportunist, admitted. And I said to him, we could get a Mercedes while we were waiting to get the electric car. And then because he's a kind fellow and he knows my passion for Mercedes.
Yes.
And we just never know when this might be useful. Anyway, I went and looked at this car, of course, did what I do, jumped the gun completely out of order, hadn't checked whether I could trade in the Orion, and went and bothered this poor fellow who was selling a B-Class, 2013 B-Class Mercedes white. And off I toddled, hopped in it, went, yep, this is the one, to myself, while not commenting, of course, because my husband was in the back being logical and thinking about, suspension. I don't know about that. And anyway, drove it around East Fremantle with this very lovely guy and dropped it home with him and said, okay, thanks very much, we'll be back in touch. And then just ran around in tight circles trying to shift this Toyota, which I was able to do I sold it to a car yard with a fellow that I'm told I'm going to be loyal to. I'll even give him a shout out. His name's Adib and he's at Car Hub on Guildford Road. His boss Tim I met years ago and he helped me do some stuff with my cars, and I texted him one time and said, I'm not ready to buy a Mercedes, but could I please rent one of yours and drive it around for the weekend? Strangely, I never heard back from that text. But I still had love in my heart, so then I got in touch. Adib is one of the people that works with him, and he took the Toyota off my hands.
Thank you, Adib.
About a week later, with lots of love and messages to my new friend that owned my Mercedes, Sam and I caught the train down to Fremantle, got an Uber to East Fremantle, picked up my car, which will be somewhere in the pictures, and honestly, I have been so happy. I think I've said to Andy 8 times in 2 days, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have this car. Thank you, honey. Thank you.
And for those listening, I feel like I should say this is one episode you should try and watch on YouTube because Tam is with her Mercedes mug and her pink frilly dress, and there is just exuberance in the room. So you must go watch this.
It's illogical how much joy this car brings
You've
me.
You've wanted one for ages.
Forever.
Ever since I've known you.
Forever. Yeah. I had I think where the obsession really started is before Andy and I got married. We went to Germany. We were travelling in Berlin. Their Mercedes are Commodores. Well, now Commodores don't even exist. God, old reference. They're Hyundais.
Yeah.
So everyone has one. So we got it as a hire car. I got in and I went, well, this is where I'm meant to be.
Yeah.
And it's always felt like...
Yeah. Do you know that your Mercedes dream has permeated me so much that I actually have a spreadsheet for when I win lotto, right, of what I'm going to do with the money. Like, I've totally worked it out, right?
Yeah.
I have on there, buy Tam a Mercedes.
Oh, my
on
God.
my lotto spreadsheet. That is
Thank
how,
you.
like, in my brain,
that
your
is
dream
what
of-
a friend you are. That's awesome.
I just think that would be so fun to do,
Oh,
don't
my
you?
God. I would just...
And you have a car.
And you have a car. Oh, my God. Well, I mean, the joy I'm getting from an almost 12-year-old hatchback version of Mercedes. I can't, but I did warn Andy.
You've manifested your
I
like.
know. I know. And I said, we're not stopping now, love.
You've got to celebrate that.
Oh, yeah. It's been, and it's got a sunroof. And
I did
we've
like
got,
Sam
we've
coming
got
down the driveway.
of Sam coming in, sticking out of the sunroof. We orchestrated that before we arrived. I had on my green
Don't try
sparkly
this at home,
jacket.
people.
Do not try this at home. We didn't do it on the road.
No.
WA Police. We
No.
did not do it on the road, only in the driveway. But yeah, I mean, and I said to Andy, this is it now, which I don't think he was thrilled to hear, but I said, nah, there won't be, now I won't not have a Mercedes. Is that how you say it, or is that a double negative? I won't not have a Mercedes. I won't not have a Mercedes. And look, I'm reasonably easily pleased because it's not even an expensive car. Like, yes, the services are going to be mind-blowing.
Oh, mind-blowing.
Honestly, you have to think, how much is the car? And then in 2 years, you pay that again for your parts and services.
That is correct. But they are wonderful to drive.
Oh.
And I was never really into cars either. But then, obviously, I've got a Mercedes now, and yeah, once you've had it, you can't go back.
I know, it's like once you've had black.
There's no going back.
No, that's it, man. I'm done. And I'm really happy with this one, you know, even though I did say to Adib, if you get anything awesome through, because they're connected to the Bunbury Mercedes dealer, you know, a miracle Mercedes will come in sometimes. And he said once in a full moon that happens. And I said once a month. And he goes, that's why my wife says that's wrong. I think it's once in a blue moon. I said it is. It is. Once in a full moon.
Happens all the time.
You'll be giving me 12 rings a year, buddy. It's like, blue moon.
Good joke.
Right? So, yeah. So, anyway.
So we have a Mercedes.
Yeah, you have to stop me because all I want to do is say how wonderful it is, right? Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm just very, very pleased.
Oh, I'm pleased for you. It's great to celebrate those wins.
Yeah, and I get it's only a thing, but there's definitely something about feeling an expression of joy. And I've named her Betsy. Yeah. Betsy B class. Or Andy said it's Betsy Benz, which is actually more logical, but I like Betsy B class. She can be Betsy B class Benz, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm wearing my Temu skirt. Yeah. Andy said, which coincidentally arrived yesterday, Andy frowned at me and said, I think you need to watch the documentaries on Temu. Oh. I have a feeling.
Oh, I know nothing about shopping.
I want to know nothing.
Clearly by my wearing the same thing every week sort of
outfit. I
outfit.
wear the same thing every week.
Pretty much. I have like 3 pairs of the same jeans.
I don't normally wear pink frilly skirts, but I could wear this every day. Like, this brings me much joy. I'm a bit worried because I know Temu...
I feel like I'm going to need to borrow that for some reason.
Please do. And I've got a black version if you're feeling like a night out. Can wear a sparkly top and you're black. I've got it all planned. Well, speaking of wear the same thing every time, these shoes aren't normally on the camera, but I wear them every day of my life. Everywhere
when you're on
everything.
A winner, you just got to... Yeah.
They're meant to be my knees don't work anymore going out at night sparkle black shoes.
Oh.
Nah.
All the time.
All the time. I have 3 pairs of shoes. I have a different approach to shoes than Mercedes. Yes. That's the dream. End up with more Mercedes than shoes.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Oh. Yeah. I'm just waffling on now.
Yeah, well, what else is happening for you?
Well, interesting week. So it's been beautiful in a way because a few different things that have sort of come in have been particularly beautiful. So I actually meant to have it printed out. I read or commented on a couple of poems this week. There's a poet called Donna Ashworth, and she's actually very well known. She's out of the UK and she's written around lots of subjects, but particularly around grief and loss and bravery. Oh, beautiful. Anyway, her post this week, for the first time, she said, I'm kind of psychic. Like, she didn't say it like that, but she said, you know how you've said to me, audience, she's got millions of followers. You know how you've said to me, wow, how do you capture these elements so well? She said, it kind of comes to me.
Comes to you, yeah.
Which made sense.
Yeah.
And then there's a fellow called John Roedel. John Roedel went viral because he wrote a poem about, did you read his poem about my head and my heart divorced years ago? It's quite beautiful, and it talks about, he wrote it when he was having an anxiety attack, and he kept writing it in this process, and then he published it, and it was one of those things that influencers dream of. It went viral, and you'll be able to read it for yourselves, but it basically says, my head and heart divorced years ago, and they've been fighting over who I should follow. And then he talks to his gut and ends up living in his lungs, and it's quite beautiful. And again, he kind of said it came to him, in this. So I've sort of had this sense for myself, whether it be killing the Toyota or reading these poems, around this mystical sort of element.
Oh, 100%.
And then I started exploring, really off the back of your experience, I started exploring around the idea of what might want to stop me, what subconscious things might want to stop me. So I've been doing exploration around that subject and have an opportunity to look at a couple of different ways of coming from not that. Or one of the things I loved yesterday, I was listening to a podcast with William Whitecloud, and the fellow, I just Googled it, and the fellow interviewing him is called Ryan Magic. Sounds like a young fellow, probably got 40 million followers, I don't know. He's quite a nice young fellow. Anyway, William Whitecloud in this interview said a couple of things that I really loved. He said, you know those survival things you've got, and he listed the survival things, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not whatever. He said they won't go. And when he said that, that provided enormous freedom. And then he went on to say how most people live their lives just trying to
resolve that.
Right? Just do what's needed to feel good enough, or do what's right, reconcile that. And then he went on to talk about this other option around, what our superconscious can do. And that was really inspiring. And then connected to that, I was reading one of Donna Ashworth's poems, and she was talking about being the kind of person that, she said, when I think about people looking for gems or looking for gold, this is a poem, so I'll paraphrase, they're looking for the thing inside the rock. So gold, hides, and you have to work very hard to find it. And gems hide in the rocks, and you have to find it. You have to work very hard to find it. And she goes on to say, being the kind of person that is looking for the gems, acknowledge yourself for that. Than being someone who, when they see rocks, just sees rocks, which connected back to the William Whitecloud podcast, which is, he said he wants to empower the magicians of the world, and he said that's not everyone, but he said there's this seam. So, of course, for me, there's this thematic things that I'm reading, because I imagine this seam of gold from Donna Ashworth's poem, and then I imagine him talking about this seam of gold of people that can make a difference and how they can be empowered to. So it was really beautiful. And then at the same time, I'm Mercedes excited, premenstrual, like that. You know what I mean? So that is the maelstrom that is my world. I was actually thinking about that on the way here. I was thinking, I think a lot of my time is just lost in the distraction of my wild mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate those realisations.
Yeah, it's like, wow, I could have got a
during
lot.
the week. Yes.
I could have got a lot more done.
All I've been doing the last 2 days is like on the same little hamster wheel.
Yeah.
And part of my brain has enjoyed being there.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's like when you're on social media for too long and you go, damn it,
I know.
all that time's just gone. And some part of my brain was addicted to being on that hamster wheel, didn't want to see the reality of the situation, and, anyway.
Well, that same podcast was a very juicy podcast. He was talking about, because the interviewer said, well, what about, do you feel like you're going to fall apart if you don't try and fulfill that need you've got, like I'm not worthy or whatever? And he said, yes, at first, that's how we survive. And I think that hamster wheel is, the ego or the habitual patterns of the brain just wanting to hang out there in kind of a, like nothing's really happening. I think some of that is accidentally useful, and some of it is just when we've fallen asleep, like Sam Harris would say, wake up.
Yeah,
right?
wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that whole, and I think that's the purpose of that William Whitecloud work is this is how you keep waking yourself up. Because same as Sam Harris, you have to do this every day. You have to remember to wake yourself up because it's so easy for us to just go on the hamster wheel that we've done every day. And
I think the William Whitecloud stuff, not having done it all yet apart from listen to a bit, is I think it's connected to the acceptance commitment therapy. Acceptance commitment therapy, the fellow I know involved in that is Russ Harris. Acceptance commitment therapy is accept what's happening. So this is how I'm feeling, okay. And commitment is what are my values and what am I trying to live by?
Yeah.
For me, the William Whitecloud stuff is what's the noise versus what's the dream.
Yeah, what choices are true for you to make.
And so as I explore how much of this subconscious work I'm going to do, I think, is it going to be useful? It feels like it is, feels right. But then I think, do I just keep doing my mindfulness? And it's a similar idea.
No, I want you to do the William Whitecloud stuff so we can talk about it.
Well, interestingly, you sent me a link that's possible for this weekend. And with some negotiation with my husband, it might be possible. And then I realised that my beloved cousin-in-law is having a function on the Sunday lunch. And I said I'd come, and I'm going to have to think about either talking to her or doing the next version of the...
They record them, so if you have to leave early on the Sunday, you'll still get the recording of the full session for 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Do it, Tam, do it.
Oh, no, I will do it now that you've said that because it gives me the flexibility. Because I didn't want to let her down because I promised she's very lovely.
Yeah.
But it did feel right when you said we're not recording that Saturday.
Yeah, coincidentally.
Yeah, I'd really like to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
It feels really good. And when I was listening to it, it felt right.
Because I just see you, can't give too much away, but, I just see you already being that stuff, that ability that you have. I share a moment that we've had together when you came to visit me after I had been through some trauma, and you channel that higher connection in your coaching naturally as a gift. That is a wonderful gift that you have. And the counsel that you gave me that day will be with me for the rest of my life. This sort of methodology is about leaning more into that.
Okay.
That gift that you have.
Okay.
And I'm like, I need Tam to do this stuff to see that gift in her.
Yeah.
And put it on some steroids.
Yeah, wonderful.
Because
I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel the expression of it at times in this process, and I can feel it when I'm coaching at times. And it is an at times thing where I feel like really just love and joy and connection, and not from another one of those poems I read, a selfish little clod full of ailments. I want to live, I had a poster up for a long time, I want to burn brightly, not be a selfish little clod full of ailments.
And I think you and I have spoken throughout our years of knowing each other. I've probably said to you, where are my people? I don't know. Who are my people? We would exchange views, and I'm like, Tam, you're my people.
Yeah.
And having come into this community of people who have done his work and then branched off and done other things, I'm like, these are my people.
Oh, yeah.
These are my people who are looking to improve themselves, but also with an element of you do you to the best of your ability, and that is what you're here to do on this earth.
I love that bit.
That has helped me. I'm not saying it right, but that has helped me so much, because a blocker for me would be, if I do this, then it's going to impact other people, and other people, according to this methodology, will blossom because you're blossoming, and that makes sense. But
it does.
We hold ourselves back, or I at least hold myself back a lot, because I thought, I can't do that because. This whole thing about you being the best version of you is actually what you're here to do, and by you being the best version of you, all the people around you are influenced by that in a positive way.
Yeah.
That just blew my mind.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's kind of like the veil falling off of the possible beautiful reality of what is. Yeah, and you said it perfectly, by the way.
And there's nothing to compare then too either.
No.
There's no other me.
I know.
If I'm doing me the best of my ability, I'm winning.
You absolutely are.
There is no one else to compare to.
Yeah, and it's the next level of freedom for me, because I'm
really
a killer comparison person.
That psychological freedom is
right?
amazing.
It's like, hang on, I can't compete with anyone else because they're not me.
They're not you.
And also for the things that I do well or are my gift, It's kind of
it's yours. It's not true for other people.
Yeah. It's kind of got a love and modesty in it intrinsically, right?
Yeah.
How
so
nice.
this weird combination that is me of wanting to do this, that, and the other is a different combination to other people. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing I get now is just keep coming back to what is the thing for me? What is the thing for me? What feels true for me? And I had a controversial thought.
Oh.
Should I express that on LinkedIn or is it actually not the platform for me?
Oh.
Which is a different conversation. But I like playing with it. I
think it is. I think if it's a true message for you,
then it can be the right platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like playing with the whole thing. But, yeah, that fundamental of what am I here to do and what brings me joy and therefore what can bring other people joy.
Yeah. And by virtue of you bringing yourself joy, other people will find joy. I loved that. They were just like, when you hear something that you just go, oh, that just like gets rid of half of my drama.
Yes, it's true.
I forget it all the time. So I like talking to you about it.
Me
to
too.
remind myself.
Well, when we talk about these things, I always feel better because it reminds me of what's actually going on.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Especially if I'm in a mode, if I'm stuck in
I've
myself.
been in a mode during the week.
Yeah.
I was in a bit of a mode.
Do you know that I've got to say this? So this Friday 50-50, we said it was going to be 20 minutes.
Yep.
I revoke that promise. And the reason is because poor Grayson, his main job in this room is meant to be AV, but actually now it's cardboard.
Timekeeping.
Cardboard waggling. Because for the last part of every conversation we have, there's a piece of cardboard.
Going.
It starts like this, real calm, then it gets a bit of a, and then he starts going like this. And I'm like, has it been 45 minutes? I think we shouldn't. It hasn't. But I know we're heading towards 30.
Okay. What else did you want to say
that cardboard
today?
is moving. I think what we need to do is revoke the promise that it's going to be 20.
Oh, okay.
It's around that long. People can sit in their driveway. That's what Andy does if he's got too long a podcast.
Oh, really?
He sits in and he gets to escape from us. I'm like, are you coming in, honey? He's like, just a minute.
I'm just going to finish
this podcast. Yeah, he parks it up.
Pause it and listen to it later. Oh, no. Oh, he's very engaged. Okay.
So, you know the joke about
I do sit in the car on the driveway if there's a song that I know. If I don't hear the end of it, I'll be singing it for the rest of the day. I do that. But
and
that's like
the
3
other
minutes.
joke from the cancelled fellow, genius comedian, Louis C.K. He misbehaved, but he's still a fantastically funny comedian. He's told the joke about me having a family holiday. The holiday part for me is when I've put the whole family in the car and walking around to get into my seat. That's why you're not sitting in the driveway listening to the podcast. You know that there's peace ahead.
Oh, that's funny.
No, that's all I wanted to say today. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. That was
Great
very
for the
nice. I feel
catch-up.
better for
Love our
talking to you.
catch-ups.
Me too. Puts me back together.
Yeah.
And I got my pink skirt on, which I'm happy. And I'm refusing to watch the Temu documentary because I don't want to know. I suspect it's around the abuse of people and stealing our identity.
Yeah, okay.
But then I have to give up my pink skirt.
50-50.
50-50. Thank you, Grayson, for your patience. Love you.